Okay, so let's get into this. Because I didn't design the boat with having smoke in mind, I used a block of wood in the bottom of the funnel and a screw to hold it in place. Fairly standard approach. Now what I've got to do is replace it with quite a large piece of copper pipe. And if you've never done this before, what I'm doing is going through every drill in my drill set, one after the other, and gradually widening this hole. It seems pretty tedious, and it is a little bit, but honestly, it's good to be safe. I'm holding this very carefully as I do it. It doesn't look at this speed. It's 1,000 times the actual speed. And as we go along, I'm gradually getting to the point where, I can't believe how long this took, I'm ready now for the final. Oh, that bit a bit, but that's it. That's the final drill hole, and I've had to put it alongside a screw, so it's not in the center of the funnel at all. But this is just the beginning of the process of enabling me to get smoke out of the top of the thing. Now the next step is going to be to try and position the smoke generator underneath this, and as you can see, it's a little bit to the port side, the hole. Now this is what the boat currently looks like. For those of you that followed the previous movies, I just wired this up in a fairly straightforward way. That battery I just took off is the battery for the lighting, which is a completely separate circuit. I don't connect that in any way to the systems, because if ever I want to, I can put the boat in the house and turn the lights on and it all looks pretty, and I don't want the radio to have anything to do with that. Now what I've done here initially is just built a shelf. Those two pieces of plastic sit there, and I'm going to put the smoke generator on top somehow. I'm not really sure how it's all going to work at first, but I've got to get the basics in place structurally before I can start doing literally anything. So I'm just checking out to see where that fits under the funnel and how it's all going to be, and I've discovered I have to put it on a funny angle like this. It looks rather strange, and that's because the hole is off to the port side, as you're aware. And I now have to line that up perfectly just to make sure it'll work. I'm not going to glue it in yet because I've got far too much to do. I just want to make sure I can achieve this before I go any further. Yep, and it's now lined up, I believe. It's slotted into the top of the smoke generator. So I know it's going to work, and now I can proceed. So I'm putting another piece of Perspex. It's great working with Perspex because you can see right through it. On top of that platform, there are two screws holding that platform on, and it seems to me if I can drill holes neatly around them, there will be locating lugs immediately, and the plan will be just to have maybe one screw holding this in place so that I can just remove it with one screw and two what will be locating lugs. That's actually how it all ended up, and it all worked exceptionally well. So I'm just testing for clearance now, making sure it all fits, and now this is it. I've been working on this for a little while. That fits on those locating lugs, as you can see. Put the screw in. Now what I want to do now is just make sure all of my components are going to fit. So I start with the two relays which turn everything on and off. They're down the base there. The magnetic switch is going to turn those on and off. The next part that I want is the relay that the Arduino is going to run, and this has got a circuit underneath it, as you can see, and that is it's once again as cheap as chips, but that will power the smoke machine maker. The radio can go there, the rudder can go there, the Arduino can sit on this nice little bridge that I made, and the compass piece can fit just there. So that's all looking pretty good, I think. Everything in general can go there. We've got the smoke generator up there, and what's next? Oh, the big old electronized speed controller can fit out the back. Great speed controllers, terrific. Been going for years, never breaks. So that's basically how it's all going to look, and now all I have to do is to begin to wire this up. So I've started by putting the fuses in, and as you can see I've used these little connectors at the top as the ground and the 11 volts and the 4.8 volts, so I've got central points to work to. A lot of good use of hot glue, which is great for holding wires and making sure that they don't move. As you can, it looks ugly, but honestly works brilliantly. I've put everything in place now, double-sided tape, doesn't need much more than that. I've wired up the main relays, as you can see, and now this is it. I've wired up the Arduino to the compass, and everything now is starting to take shape. I've got the wires from the Arduino that will plug into the radio unit. You can see, you can't see those at the moment, they're on the other side. They've got the little box shapes on the end. You get those from Arduino, they cost nothing. More hot glue, as you can see. That's the wire that's going to go to the speed controller. And about now, this is the on-off switch. I don't end up using this in exactly the way it looks here, but when I do that, it all turns on. There's the rudder working very nicely. I've already uploaded the script into the Arduino, I might add. That's the power. That's all okay. Now, when I push the that up, I can tell it's all working. When I turn that to the right, that's working. Now this is a channel, and centered, when you center the channel, it sits on about 1500 or 1512, as you can see here. When you turn the arm all the way to the one end of its travel, it's 1092. When the arm goes to the other side, it's up around the 2000 mark. And I use this on all of the code in the sketch. Now I've pulled that trim tab back and I've lost control of the rudder, as you can see, but when I push the rudder forward I've still got control, and when I let it go it's controlled by the Arduino. Now that is exactly what I want. So there's a bit of a wobble in that servo, but that will go once the capacitors go on.